Hey guys, welcome to this. I always want to call them episodes, but I don't really think that they are. This Western PA real estate meetup. And to start things off, Trade Better is going to kick us off and explain what a buy box is and how to create one.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, this is just a quick breakdown for what a buy box is. Buy box is a location that you're looking for to purchase a property. It's one of those places that I would recommend that you get to know over the period of 90 days to understand, to look at housing prices, rental prices, and just kind of overall flow and feeling of location. I would say that it's a area that it's especially if you're looking to invest locally, someplace that you know relatively well, at least just as a place to start. And the prices of say how much it would cost to buy the house, how much it would cost to rent it out. Are there different avenues of renting? Could you rent by the room? Could you rent buy a duplex and rent the other place out? There's a lot of really fun spots there, and I guess it's recommended once you kind of know what you want and what your price range is to look for at least 40 properties in that area and just kind of go through it. Zuber recommends 20 minutes every day and just to kind of look at it, see if there's any changes, if there are no changes, and just kind of see like if there's price reductions or if there's price wars. That's been really popular last year or last few years, not as much this last year. And I mean, that's really the best way to start forward. And then honestly, it's one of those places you see yourself potentially investing or living there for a long period of time. That's usually what I would say. Anything else you got?
Trying to figure out why there's flamingos on my computer screen. Yeah, I minimized this. I was looking for something. And I went to switch back, and there was flamingos all over my computer screen, all over
That's
the Zoom
exciting.
thing. I think you got it. I think one of the things you missed was when you're doing your calculations and stuff, you want to look for yield and you want to get used to what type
Yes.
of yield percentage is so you're not buying, bad deals. You're buying deals that actually cash flow. Um, you want to figure out what an average deal looks like for your market, and that's the importance of a buy box. And you want to try and shoot for stuff that's above it. So I'm just pulling making up numbers, but let's say in your research you find that the average deal is 15% yield based upon your cat on your cash on cash return. And so try to shoot for 18 then. And with all of that, let's go ahead and open since now that the introduction is done, let's go ahead and open up to whatever you guys want to talk about. Harrison, have you made any progress with have you seen any more places lately?
Not recently. It's been kind of a wild
Slacker.
time, but I know, right? I'm looking at places on the internet, but yeah, not pulling the trigger on it. And I was talking about this on the live yesterday with Mark. I think I need to even bring down my buy box even more because I was like, oh, 165 properties that are all, in the Allegheny-ish area. I was like, okay, I can find one and go that way. But then I'm realizing all the townships have their own kind of prices and everything. And so when Mark was pointing at to me like about Aliquippa and everything, it's like, I don't know anything about Aliquippa. It's like, why would I, and then uh or looking further east or something like that. I mean, I guess I was looking towards maybe more Mount Washington, a little bit further south in that area. But so I'm just like, I think my biggest issue is that how far do I go from B class or C class, you know, in that area? Because I would say that my property in Ohio is a C plus, so it's one of those where I kind of say, all right, I know this area, but I'm realizing very much so that the whole Pittsburgh area is very different in different spots. So that's been a very humbling moment the last few days. So
Yeah, like you said, each borough is different. They all have their own different rules, and one of one of the downsides is anything that's trying to think of how to word this exactly. The Pittsburgh, like the city of Pittsburgh city limits. So like anywhere where the salt trucks and stuff would go through and take care of the road, that's the best way for me to describe it.
right,
It's going to be a lot harder to try and do stuff you're going to need as far as like maintenance work on the house because it's going to lead into a lot more permits and that all that kind of stuff. So
gotcha.
like there's ways to depending on what borough, like the guidance for what you need a permit for would be less. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
of an example like plumbing would be like one of those examples like you can get away with like doing different things, with one borough, but then go to the city of Pittsburgh and you need them to do anything above basic plumbing.
gotcha. Okay, this is a silly question, but it's actually very personal for me because what about strobe
I'll need to
lights?
know the color of your underwear.
I'm not, but no, I was that like so I actually have a neighbor in Virginia, and we don't have HOAs or anything like that, which is fine. But they installed a fenced post with a strobe light on it, which I think is really cool. But I don't know, it's just one of those things. Like, do you need permitting for that? Or I mean, I guess in Virginia you don't, but would you need that for like Pittsburgh city limits? Like, I was wondering how strict it is.
Like what type of strobe?
Kind of like it's one of those where it's supposed to scare bats away or something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's like he keeps it on his facing his the opening in like the ventilation spot in his roof, and apparently it's supposed to keep night critters away. I guess for him, he's had issues with it. So
uh, you probably I don't think you would need to get a permit for that.
okay,
I think honestly, out of the two things, you might need a permit for the fence, though.
right, yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of think the fence would be more likely than the strobe light.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, for Virginia, as long as it's under 3 feet, you don't need a permit for it. If you go for the 6 foot option, then you do need a permit. So I guess in
If you
our
make if you make it
Virginia.
12
So
feet, then you can't see them not seeing it.
if you make it 12 feet, then the county's knocking on your door because they actually have a maximum height of 6 feet. So like, oh, that's fun.
Just make it so they can't come in.
There you go.
Yeah, problem solved.
Hmm. Good fences make good neighbors. Yeah. So yeah, but I guess when it comes to yeah, I guess working on my buy box and specifically because we weren't sure if we were actually going to be making our way up north yet, but I guess for now that's being delayed. But right now, so I think that's kind of opening my buy box a little bit more, and I think I opened it too much for looking at other places. So um, I guess Jeremy brought up a good point though. It's like I was interested in being near closer to the airport or something like that. I was trying to think about like businesses and just I don't know potential
That
growth. And,
that wouldn't be a bad move either.
yeah,
Like I know you're looking at Butler before because
right,
up where I'm at, but
right,
I think Jeremy's property management company manages that area too, so that would be maybe a good move. And
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on near the airport, so
yeah,
and plus
yeah. I
when
mean,
you
I
come
was
to
either that
visit,
or
and think about and whenever you come to visit, you'd be one of the closest rentals that we can come spy on.
Exactly, it's true. I was like thinking about that, and then also, what was it? Who was the person that was on earlier? It was about the Cranberry area. Like that was
That
talking about renting to Steelers.
that was Ratchet. I
Ratchet,
forget what his
yeah.
last
So
name. I forget what his last
yeah,
name is.
yeah. That also piqued my interest as well. It's like, well, because if you could get a nicer area rent by the room, I was like, not not too bad of an idea. But and since Cranberry's outside of the city limits, I was wondering like how uh
Well, Cranberry
how yeah,
is in a different county. That one's in Butler, so you
right,
have a lot less regulations than you
right,
and everything than you do. Because like the city of Pittsburgh is the worst. And I'm sure that there's
yeah,
boroughs that may be worse than the city of Pittsburgh, but
right,
off the top of my head, I'm not going to know what those are.
right,
And then like Allegheny County would probably be like second or third worst. And then like just anything out of there, it's kind of like the further away from the cities you get, the less regulations and stuff you need.
right. Yeah. So as you can tell, my brain's been kind of just played around with a little too much, and so I'm trying to hone it back in. But that was something that because of our talk with Jared talking about rent by the room and everything, it's like, well, there could be an actual need in that area versus other parts of the city. So, but you'd have to find a very specific kind of clientele. So that might low. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a tough niche to try and do there, just because
Yeah.
in Cranberry they're still building. So
Right.
I don't know how well or not well that would actually work there because they're still popping in houses there.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's been my thing. So I've been yeah, it's like because I was interested in Butler. I'm still not against it. It was just one of those where I felt like maybe there's harder spots to find. I guess after the property that we checked out, it was kind of it needed more work than I thought, and I was just wondering maybe. And then yeah, talking to Jeremy yesterday, maybe I should start looking at single families again because I've been exclusively multifamily,
Hmm.
and that's just because I'm coming in from the Ohio market, which multifamily makes sense.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to singles and you know multi-units. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust the camera a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah, we're fortunate enough here that single family is you know this is one of the few markets where they actually cash flow in the country, so that's one thing to think about. Um,
Hmm.
the other thing is the other thing is too, it's like, when you have a multi-unit, is that, if one of the units goes vacant, that, you're not completely out the whole mortgage too. So that's another thing to think
Right.
about. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say turn down either one.
Okay. That makes sense.
Hey Elena, how you doing this week?
Good, 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 Jack. I was struggling to activate my camera and I cannot do it on the computer. I might need to jump on the phone,
Oh,
but happy to be here. I'll reconnect through the phone because yeah.
okay. See you in a few minutes. So Flavio, since
Yeah.
you're kind, oh, sorry, Bella.
Or I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, Flavio, is there anything you'd like to know about the area since you're thinking about coming here?
No, no, right now I'm still not convinced of the area because I know really well my backyard. So I'm just waiting to find deals in this area.
Okay.
Yeah, Pacific Northwest area is great. So I know it's one of those. Maybe it's worth holding out. So
Oh, Harrison, I just thought of something.
yeah,
So if you're thinking about going towards um, the airport, if you stay slightly further away from the city, so like I'm talking like right at the airport and just
right.
continue to go further away, that's not Allegheny County.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Beaver County.
okay.
Yeah, so that's something to think about too.
Yeah. So because I remember one of the first properties Lars looked at was just ridiculously expensive. It was one of those I've never seen a property so nice. What is Beaver County like? Is it more like like a very fancy suburb turning it into its own city, or is it just I don't
It
know how to describe it.
it depends on where you're at in Beaver County. So like uh, Beaver County has pros and cons all throughout it. But let's see. They excuse me, they don't really have a city like a big enough like I can't
Mhm.
even tell you what this yeah, they really don't have much of a city, but like when you guys were asking me before about Aliquippa and Ambridge and Monaca, that's
Yeah,
all in Beaver County.
right.
So even though on a map it looks like it's part of Pittsburgh, it's actually in a completely different county.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm wondering if I don't know how what the laws look like there, what it looks like for fixer uppers, and if it's worth
I would
just yeah.
if you're going to try and do fix and flip out there, I wouldn't do it out there just
No,
because.
no, no.
But I don't see the demand out there enough to make it really worthwhile. But if you're talking about fixing up a property and forcing equity and stuff,
Right.
that would be a good move, as well as
Okay.
fixing and holding.
Yeah, that
Um,
was my thought. It's like I'm not a flipper, so it's just I buy it and hold. Period.
but as far as like like the laws and the permits and stuff, I can't say with 100%, but I would imagine it's probably more equivalent to like Butler and stuff, just from what I've heard and talked to with other people. A little bit
Okay.
a little bit more laid back than Allegheny County and stuff.
Nice. Okay.
You kind of have me wondering
And
though. Um, so I ran into a problem with one of Cynthia's places, and it was funny because like the plumber that was working on one of her places, I was asking him, I was like, "Hey, wait, how come there's no event thing here? Shouldn't it be a vent thing?
right.
Like when
Yeah.
your pipes are up and the water has a vent and stuff." I guess in Allegheny for certain parts, he was telling me he's like they're not allowed to use vents.
Really?
Yeah.
How how do they get away with that? That's jeez.
Like they have their normal vents that go through the roof and stuff. I
Right.
think I think he might have been talking about like like those little caps that you set like a little pipe and you set it underneath the sink and stuff. Just to,
Right.
I guess you're not allowed to have those.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
No offense. Oh,
I thought that was weird.
yeah. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Hmm. What else? So, all right. Now that I'm looking out that way, I mean, it's one of those that, all right, this is the elephant in the room is that are there going to be issues with natural gas leakage in certain areas. Because I
No, you
remember
still have
what
traps and all
10
that
15
kind
years
of
ago.
stuff.
Okay, all right,
Yeah. You still have traps. I
okay,
wouldn't be worried about that, but it's just like I said,
okay,
there's other than like your vents going up through the roof,
right,
you don't have any other like smaller vents and stuff. And
okay,
so like if anything, you might have a little bit of like excess residual that's in your lines and stuff. But even then it's all graded, so it still leaves.
okay. That's fine. Then. All right, that's not the end of the world. All right, yeah. I was just thinking about that, but it also brought up the other question as well. Is that so? If you go further west into Beaver and everything, would you? There's no mining in that area, is there, for like natural gas, or is there seepage and stuff like that?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I just remember like 10, 15 years ago, seeing all those stories of Pennsylvania's on fire, your water faucet is on fire, just kind of stuff like that. So, okay, cool.
They had a video on of someone that made the news that their water could catch on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on the news last year, something like that.
Oh, that's great. So
I
that's
forget
another
what it
one.
was.
All right. Yeah.
Mark, you didn't have Jeremy answer my question in the live stream yesterday or day before. All right, Bella, thanks for joining us.
Good reading, Mel.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, Mark, you didn't ask Jeremy about the mine fires. He's ignoring us.
Oh.
No, so me and Harrison did a video, what was it, like 5 months ago at this point, about what was it, Fayette County over by
Oh yeah.
Union Uniontown had a mine that was smoking and stuff, and some people were concerned about it becoming another Centralia, but I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, I know. I haven't heard anything yet either, so that was interesting.
You know what's funny is I
So,
try to find that even like the news article and stuff, I can't find the news story, and even when I was using AI to try and find it, I just kept pulling up Centralia things.
huh.
I don't know.
Hmm. Oh, it's a
Oh,
strange
but
one.
but yeah, so out in Beaver, you have, what is it? I think it's either an oil or a gas refinery out there too. So there's a lot of jobs out there too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the only thing that had me concerned about Beaver was just looking geographically was the fork in the rivers up there. So I was wondering if there's a lot of flooding up in that area. But that's
I'm
just
not
more research for me.
I'm not really 100% sure. I guess it really just depends. I mean that's something we could look up.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Looks like I might have to hop off early. Something's happening upstairs. But I'll be back in a little bit. Sorry about that.
All right, see ya.
Right.
And then there's only four. Well, technically three, but Mark's not paying attention to us now.
Yeah, I'm also working on my buy box and well, I'm starting with baby steps. I'm just going through the Zuber's book and his videos, but I feel like I will probably end up in Pittsburgh somewhere.
Okay.
Um, Just need to know where and what I'm doing. It's funny, like I try to see if it's better to drive or get to the airport, and the flying is easy, but I just learned that Newark Airport is a disaster in New Jersey right now and is not going to be fully operational for another year. Like, okay, driving is 5 hours. That's not fun. I can get to Canada in 6 hours. But it would be good to kind of understand the market in person.
Yeah. There's couple videos on my channel where we break down the areas of Pittsburgh, and I never did a by county video, but Jeremy said he's going to break down on his channel. Mark, if you ever wake up from your nap, but anyway, Jeremy on his channel, he's a real estate agent, the one I was on his channel the other day, but he was going to actually break down numbers and go way more in depth than I did. So, but he hasn't started doing that, and there's so many that it's going to probably take him some time to get through them all.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that would be another good resource too. Um, let's see.
I, I definitely know that I do not want to go in a C market. So what I
Yeah,
don't know if it's better for me A or B. Um,
I I would always choose a B market, but that's just kind of my preference because you figure if something was to ever happen and like there's a lot of people downsizing, the A's are going to come to the B's.
mhm, yeah. So Jack, your video goes through B areas or just Pittsburgh overall?
There's a lot of B areas in Pittsburgh. I mean, just off the top of my head, you have Crafton Heights. Those would be some B areas. You would have Robinson. That's B/A. Actually, let me
What area Ratchet was talking about, A or B?
A. That's an A. Yeah, that was an A. Let me do something really quick.
Because Zuber said get it to one zip code, right? And before to get one
Yeah,
zip code, I
here in
have to
Pittsburgh,
get an
it
education on Pittsburgh crash course.
here in Pittsburgh, you're not going to get it down to one zip code because, like, for example, like he always talks about Fresno,
Hmm.
and he's saying, well, Fresno, blah 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 blah. That's great, but the thing is like you have one borough or one part of Pittsburgh, and it might have six zip codes.
Hmm.
And he was saying to try and create a buy box with at least like 40 houses that fit your criteria. And a lot
Hmm.
of these zip codes just aren't big enough to do that. So you're better off to invest in like an area.
Hmm. Hmm.
So like for example, can you see the map?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just on Zillow. So like for example, Cynthia for her buy box, she does Crafton. Crafton Heights is right here, all the way through Thornburg and Carnegie. So like this big giant clump.
Okay.
And that so like I wouldn't focus so much on zip codes. I would focus on what you want in your criteria and focus on an area that you want to be in. Like so Green Tree here, that's an A. And I'm not talking not like national scale. I'm talking local scale. Okay. Dormont would might be a good pick. With Beachview, Banksville, that might be a good area. Steven, if I don't know if you met him or not, if he's been on, but he's and Beachview. I'm not 100% sure about Overbrook. I'm not overly that familiar with it. Harrison was talking about Mount Washington earlier. Mount Washington, Duquesne Heights, that's somewhere that's also somewhere up in here too. That's B. I would South Shore might be a little bit too rough as well. South Side. Yeah, South Side Flats.
Then maybe
St.
I'll
Clair.
just go like you did through the Zillow like that and like circle a few things so I can ask you questions in the 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, and if yeah, St. Clair is an A. Mount Oliver is depending on where you're at. Mount Oliver is one of those weird areas where in a small little area you can have anything from an A to a C.
Oh,
Yeah, so
how far are these areas from airport?
I want to say anything. Allegheny General Hospital is probably right about here, which is kind of on the far side of the city.
Mhm.
Allegheny General would probably, and the airport is. Oh, I didn't realize it wasn't going to show me where the airport is. The airport is somewhere. I don't know why I keep losing the highway. Oh, there it is. The airport's right there.
Mhm.
I want to say it's probably about
Okay.
half hour, 40 minutes, like, and that's like the further side, like where I'm sitting right now in Crafton Heights. I can be at the airport in like half an hour, depending on traffic. And
Okay.
obviously, like if you're on the southern part of the city, you could probably be there in like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And honestly, the airport isn't like some airports are horrible to get in and out of. Pittsburgh is kind of it's it's actually a really nice airport to get in and out of. It's kind of just set up like what is it, 470, like around DC. Like there's just a big giant highway
Mhm.
that just goes around the whole thing.
Mhm.
It's funny because like it's been so long since I've been in an airport, and then like going out to Vegas this past year, it was kind of funny because like the airport was kind of it just looked like very lack of updates. Like it looks like nothing's really changed since like the 80s and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's funny because like it was actually one of the nicer ones to get in and go through and get around. Like I think Dallas, as far as looking at stuff, was my favorite, but Atlanta was just overwhelming because it was just so massively huge. Or maybe I'm just complaining because I don't fly enough.
Well, I checked the tickets. Supposedly, if I guess I don't check my luggage and it's like $57. I literally can be in Pittsburgh for $57, but then I would have to rent a car.
Uh,
I don't know, 5 hours of driving doesn't appeal to me. I know people have this endurance for driving. I don't.
I think it just depends on the person, honestly. Like you said, that there's some people that would rather fly, or some people that would rather drive.
But yeah, I feel like for me, I would need to at least see it once to drive around neighborhoods to get the vibe to feel like definitely do homework beforehand and um, narrow down the zip codes so when I'm driving with purpose.
Yeah,
But it's quite a few weeks away.
yeah.
It's honestly like summer away. I'm planning on getting serious in the fall.
Have you found an agent yet?
No agent because I don't know what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
I'm listening to people. I just learned that I should join Pittsburgh Real Estate Investors Association. Are you a part of it?
I'm trying to think of if that's acres or not. Um, no, I don't think I've ever been a member of that one. But I was a member of Acres, and it kind of I don't recommend joining Acres of Pittsburgh.
Why?
Uh, it was good for a while, but then like I got a real bad taste in my mouth once when they brought in one of I forget what his name. Oh, his name was John something, and he was the guy that bought out at one point a lot of Robert Kiyosaki's properties and stuff. And he was trying to sell a course, and it was just the
Okay, I got you.
yeah, and like it left such a bad like I really enjoyed it up to that meeting, and then that meeting left such a bad taste in my mouth that I never went back.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. I guess for me it's different because I literally would need to ask, okay, I'm thinking about these areas. Who was the real estate agents there? Who was the contractors there? Like who was the property managers there? Like I would really need to get in on the ground
Mhm.
once I know what I'm asking for.
I really like for that kind of stuff. Mark's agent. Oh no, Mark uses Alex, but either Alex or Jeremy are really super helpful when it comes to a lot of that stuff. They're both awesome. Uh, let's see.
They're in our school community, right?
No, I don't think either of them are.
If you have
That's
their contact information, I would be grateful. Because on one hand, I don't want to waste people's time if I'm not sure what I'm asking. On another hand, only by talking to people do I get what I'm asking. Like, uh, I
I only
think
have
Pittsburgh,
Jeremy's.
mhm, whatever you can share, I appreciate. I think Mark woke up as asking who is the lady you're talking to. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's Jeremy's contact. I put it in the chat.
Appreciate it. Yep, taking the
Hmm.
picture.
Yeah, he's real helpful. Let's see. I'm tired of this pen poking me in the arm. I got so much ink on my arm. Let's see.
And
Oh,
Jeremy is realtor, right?
he's a realtor.
Okay, fantastic.
Let me try to. Huh. I'm surprised I don't have that tab open already. That wasn't that one. Was it this one? No. Sorry, I'm trying to find a certain episode so I could share it with you.
That would be awesome. But I just subscribed to your channel, so I was planning going there to review it.
I don't know why I'm making it so hard. I literally have playlists. I can click on.
Every time you look for something, you'll find it 5 minutes after you stop looking.
Oh, I think I found it. Yeah, this is it here. No. So 4/17/25 Western PA's accountability meeting. That's the one on my channel where Jeremy comes on and he does a real good breakdown of the whole region, and people are just kind of like shooting things at him and he's answering questions and stuff. So that's a good one to check out.
Okay.
And then where
Oh,
else?
it's
Well, on my channel, since you subscribed, under the playlist informative, there, whatever the last one you see both me and Harrison on the thumbnail,
mhm.
click on that one and it's my view of the city and stuff. We kind of break it down going all around and stuff, and I even show you in that one what my buy box is and stuff, so that kind of give you an idea too.
Perfect. Perfect. Use the answer to my questions. Um, and I'm just building the Zuber's grid. And may I ask you, how did you come up with estimating expenses? By experiencing or just guessing it?
I grew up in a family where we all kind of worked on where my family all had older houses and stuff, so I got
Hmm.
very used to working on everything kind of like hands on.
Hmm.
So I got very quick at estimating stuff. Just like I can look at a room and kind of be like ballpark. I'm usually within like 3K or so, unless of course something horrible is behind the walls I didn't see. But like it's just from growing up and doing that kind of stuff that like I'm decent at looking at that and being able to do that. But yeah, so I guess just experience really.
Well, let's say the house is not a disaster. It's an ordinary tired house, and you know that you're going to be renting it. Or what things do you consider doing before you put a new tenant in?
So when I'm looking at a property, the biggest things, like before I even buy the property, the things I'm looking for is I look at one of the biggest things I look at is the electrical panel. I want to make sure that there's no knob and tube hooked up to the panel. Okay, because like this area is very
Doorbell
old.
ringing on here.
Hey, Sarah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. My bad. I'm messaging you guys. Sorry.
Oh, but I look at the fuse box, or not the fuse box, the breaker box. But I make sure that there's no live knob and tube, that it's at least updated.
Okay.
I like to look at the plumbing, see what type of plumbing it has, PEX, copper. I don't want to see any galvanized. I don't want to see anything that looks like it's dated or old, because but I don't want to see things that look dated and old when it comes to plumbing because you figure a lot of plumbing only has a 50 life year expectancy. The other big thing is, warpaging in the floors. I don't want to see like, you don't want to see your floors all warped, especially the one side. Even like the roofs, I don't want to see like I don't want to see it making a U on the roof. I'm over exaggerating it, but like I don't want to see a massive U. Let's see what was one other big thing after like all the big major things. Okay, like a bathroom remodel. That's nothing. I know you'd be an out-of-state investor. Even that wouldn't be too horrible. I want to make sure that either the bathroom is good or the kitchen is good or both. And I'm talking about updates. Like I don't want to go. I don't want to. I personally don't like to buy a place that needs both the bathroom and the kitchen remodeled. Like that's too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have taken a buy box course. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, yeah. Sarah brought up a good point. For next time, I'll have there's a checklist of things, and I'll try and have that ready for you to share with you.
Thank you. Because, okay, I can estimate down payment. I
Yeah.
can find out what insurance is.
Hmm.
I can find out, like, assume the 5% vacancy rate.
Yeah.
I can make assumption around utilities, but the
I would
repairs
put a little bit
is
back.
just total speculation.
I'll put a little bit extra back in the reserves for repairs and stuff, just because a lot of houses are on the older side, so you're probably gonna have a little bit also for just a little bit additional in repairs. So 20 or like 15-20%.
Hmm, hmm.
But yeah,
But
like
what
those are
is,
kind of
I
like the
understand
big
that you're
things.
handy, but what is your average uh, high level numbers that you put aside for each property?
I
Assuming it's not a distraction, assuming it's a tied property.
um Me personally, I do 30%, back, but I that's honestly overkill.
Okay.
Probably 20.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 20.
Thank you. I'm writing it down.
Mikey likes your strategy. But yeah, the only reason why I don't like doing both kitchen and the bathroom is just because it slows you down. It
Mhm.
greatly slows you down. So I would preferably have neither. And then after that, it's just paint and whatever flooring you're picking. And
People going with LVP lately. Is this how you're approaching things?
I haven't really made up my mind on that, honestly, because like I I didn't hear until recently about what could be the potential problems with LVP. I don't know, but I do know like my one unit has trouble with the floors, and they're level to the eye, and they're until you throw like a level on it and they see that they're not level, and then there's a little bit of a warp, and I could do what's it called? That floor leveler, which is basically just
Mhm.
a more liquidy type of concrete, and I could get it perfect. But then after hearing about what they were talking about in the school community, it kind of makes me want to consider doing more vinyl flooring and stuff where it's just all one big piece.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that would actually save me money in the long run. And they have some really nice ones now I was looking at. But yeah, it'd save me money because I wouldn't have to level the floor out perfectly. Because like when you're walking, you don't feel it. And it wasn't until I started like putting like an 8 foot level on it that I even noticed that it wasn't perfectly level.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think I might for the bathrooms go back to I think I might go back to vinyl, but for Class B like you're talking about, I don't know if that would be a good look. I'm wondering if what's it called? It's not LVP. What is it? The I'm trying to think of the stuff that was popular before LVP.
Linoleum?
I think I'm wondering if that would be maybe a better solution for those areas. Like just do the bathroom and your kitchens and that, and then do carpeting for the rest. I know that most people are saying that don't do the carpeting because people bring in pets and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things. I really haven't come up with a good answer for any of it because it's like there's pros and cons to all of it, and there really isn't an answer for any of it just because it's like you know the carpets hold the pet pee and urine and stuff, and you're going to be changing it out, but it's like you can get decent flooring that kind of I'm trying to figure out how I can show you the carpeting I'm looking at now. But
Mhm.
it has like different colors all in it. I wonder if I can. Oh, never mind. That's not going to work either. But I was going to try and upload a picture of it, but I realized that I can't upload pictures on the Zoom call. But yeah, it's like tan and there's different colors and it helps hide stuff. But I think as long as it doesn't smell horrible, I mean, you can come in, clean it up, have carpet cleaners, come in and give it a real good clean. And like I have carpeting in my units, and what was it? There's one that's been through 4 tenants already,
Mhm.
and it still looks fine. I mean, it doesn't look brand new. It's starting to wear, but and that's just from when I bought the place. Like the previous owner had it for a while in there too, so who knows how old it really is. But it's held up good. And the one downstairs again, same thing. But it's only been through two. But I think all my units have carpeting in them. It's at some point. So I don't know. I feel like people are more respectful than what they give than what people give them credit for. I guess a combination of everything, I guess, is really the best bet, I guess. I haven't really figured out one type that you can just lay through and be good for everything.
But the reason I'm talking about LVP, I heard that luxury vinyls, the easiest to replace. If one is damaged, you just pop this plank out and put the other one, and it's good as new. And supposedly they're water resistant and super durable. Um, but once again,
The one downside to LVP, and like I have LVP in my units, the one downside is that it's never one of the ones on the outside that's easy to just pop in and out. It's always one of the ones on the inside. So you end up having to take off the trim and then like tearing apart half the floor and then change out that one piece, and then putting the whole floor back in. So by the time you're done or paying someone, it almost comes to the same cost as having someone just lay all new LVP in there. So
I
that's
gotcha.
one of the things that I've encountered. And one of the other things is they're starting to find with LVP is that it doesn't breathe. So if it's not set correctly up against like the tub or like the bathtub or like toilet or the sink or for the kitchen or bathroom and stuff, is that water can potentially get underneath of it and then it just holds it.
And then you have a mold issue.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they're finding now with it. I'm not sure how I feel about LVP now, but I don't know what your other alternatives would be for that because it's like LVP is one of the better ones for the reasons you just said, but also you have this to contend with too. And I was like, I'm not really sure what to exactly use in the wetter areas. That's why I'm thinking about switching maybe back to vinyl for those areas. But even then, like you can only make it look so nice. But I don't know. I haven't really I haven't really found like a one, especially for the wet areas, a product that I'm 100% like, yeah, I love this product. It's always like,
Yeah, yeah,
I like this one, but here's the flaws. I like this one, but here's the flaws. And like I haven't really found one I'm like totally 100% on board with.
yeah. Well, we'll keep asking this question in the community. Maybe there will be
You know who I'd like
consensus.
to hear answer this question is Jim, the grumpy contractor. I like to hear what he has to say about
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to
He's
hear his.
he's on Wednesdays, right?
That's Frank, but Jim
Yeah.
sometimes jumps on Frank's meeting.
Yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
let's
guy that
ask
always
him.
sounds grumpy.
Is there any other kind of contractors?
Um, Frank's a con Frank Contreras. He's a contractor. Um, I feel like I'm missing one or two people. Those are probably the two of the more famous contractors in the group.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's others though. Like, oh, All Nighter Hider. No, Sarah, the J that's Jim. Frank is from. Oh no, you're right. Frank is from California. Oh, but Jim's from California too. They're both from California.
I think it's the first group that started by West Coast.
Yeah, it was started by West Coast because Zuber was out there and it was kind of getting West Coast, and it wasn't really till Lumberjack came on that more East Coast people came on.
Hmm. But it's okay because when California speaks, at least they speak the kind of prices that New Jersey can understand. When I was joining Midwest groups, I'm like, I don't know what planet they live on. Is it Zimbabwe, Nicaragua? I don't know this kind of prices. Thank you, Jack. But
Yeah,
yeah,
anytime.
I will be here for a long haul, so I'll keep asking questions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of in that stage where it's like I know I need to transition the flooring stuff, but I'm not sure. I'm going to keep carpeting where I have carpeting, which is, I always do carpeting on the stairs. That's something I'm not going to get rid of. Half the time I do carpeting in the bedrooms and the living rooms. Half the time I don't. It's just what I feel like for that project more or less. But and also it depends on the budget too. Like I'll give you a prime example. Like I have up in Butler, for example, like the like I'll put like I'm gonna put LVP basically in the whole upstairs, and but I'm not touching the bathroom. It has vinyl in it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm leaving it alone. But the rest of it is getting LVP just because it's a much rougher neighborhood. I don't anticipate people taking care of stuff there.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm putting the LVP down because it's a little bit more resistant and it's not going to be exposed to water. I'm going to do the stairs and carpeting,
Mhm.
and the living room I'm going to have done in carpeting. And I have, let's see, the kitchen is getting vinyl, and I might do vinyl in the dining room as well, just because it's right next to the in that particular building. It's you walk in, you're in the living room, you go into the dining room, and then there's the kitchen. So there's always going to be foot traffic between those two rooms. So I might do vinyl for those two, and then do carpeting for the living room. Val, I see you finally made one. How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
Doing good.
Great. Yeah. How's everything been going?
Good. Have you
Great.
made
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
have you made any progress with your eviction?
Uh, yes, I got word today. I got word today. It is on the books, just waiting for the judge to sign off on it, and we should be able to get a lockout next week.
Awesome.
Yeah. So super duper excited about that. So that's gonna be that's gonna be a task because I hadn't even seen it. Done owned it for a year and a half, and hadn't seen it, but hey, it's gonna be an adventure there, right?
Where's that one at again? I forget.
Greensboro, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I, I
So,
s- I still sometimes think about the story you're telling on Frank's. I think it was Frank's. I heard you talking about it.
hmm
It kind of just reminds me of how I grew up when I was over at with my grandparents and stuff. I feel like the only thing you're missing is a motorcycle inside the living room.
well, he's getting out too. We putting him out too. That's my other property. That's the latest one I done. I'm evicting him as well. So we got a lot going on, brother.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing you're missing is a motorcycle in the living room and someone choking on gas out of a Corvette.
I don't know about the Corvette and the gas, but yeah.
You would
But
think with my family being so many gearheads that they would spend $5 on a siphon pump. Instead, no, we got to choke on it every time.
hey, I think it's one of those like, it's like you see it at the store and then you walk by it, you don't pick it up, and it's just like, oh well, I've been getting gas like this for years, so it ain't hurt nothing yet there, right? So yeah, it's just what works. So I heard you saying that you were doing carpet on the steps, and what are you planning on doing in the kitchen?
See, I'm still uncertain. I know for the my next project, I'm probably gonna drop vinyl because it's not a super high-end market. I'm just trying to get it
Right.
done cheaply, and
Yeah.
there's some waves in the floor that I found. So that one's definitely getting vinyl. I'm leaning towards doing vinyl for the dining room as well.
hmm Now, have you what's on the what's on the countertops?
Believe it or not, I'm gonna pull the counter. Well, I'm gonna pull the countertop out. It's stainless steel. It looks like a,
Oh, okay.
but it's that old stuff where
Mm-hmm.
it's wrapped around.
Yeah.
But most of the countertop is taken up, and I'm not gonna pull it just because I like the look of it. I think I can work with it. Is like those big giant long 50 sinks.
Mm-hmm.
It has one of those in it, and it's real nice and stuff, and it's a great shape. So I'm thinking about just leaving it there and just pull the stainless steel out and put like a tiny little butcher block table. And then I'm thinking about on the other side of the kitchen, maybe dropping in
Okay.
or doing some more butcher block.
Okay. Cool. I heard somebody talking about the butcher block there the other day on one of the lives, and I was just like, man, I no, it was. I think it was wasn't it Dion. Dion was saying that he does it, and then he'll cut out what they cut out for the sink, and then he'll use that as a cutting board. No, that was Matt. That was Matt the Lumberjack. It was one of them. No, it was Matt
I,
the
I,
Lumberjack.
I would say Matt's talked about it before. That sounds
Yeah,
like a little bit too much work for Dion.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I thought about it. That's yeah. So, but no, I thought that was pretty cool though. Because like I said, what you cut out for the sink there, and then you got that extra piece, and so yeah. But no, that definitely good. So it's pretty cool. Well, definitely, you'll have to definitely get some pictures up so we can see what you're working with. Because I definitely plan on taking some picture, a bunch of pictures myself, just to kind of, like you said, document the journey there. You know.
Yeah, I've been painting them white or sorry, gray walls with a white ceiling, white trim for a while. I did it for I don't know, about half of the portfolio so far. But
Mm-hmm.
I kind of fell in love recently with I repainted the one unit I was working on. It had brown trim. I was just like, I'm not because of time constraints, I'm not repainting all the trim. But it was white walls, and I changed it to almond,
Okay.
and I absolutely love this almond with brown.
Okay.
So I'm thinking about doing another almond and brown.
Okay. So now, what brand of paint are you getting?
That last one I did was it was a Valspar. I just wanted to play with it because it's supposed to be one of the more expensive higher end stuff is like easily cleanable and stuff. It rolled out nice. Um, like I said, it's in a but that building is in a better area, so I'm not so worried about tenants destroying it.
Right.
But I think for this one I'm gonna do next, I'm not gonna play around with. I'm probably gonna buy Sharon Williams or Benjamin Moore because their products are just a lot better. And I kind of anticipate there being a little bit more problems with it because of the area.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I'm hoping by spending a little bit of extra money that maybe I can have just be able to go in with some dry erasers or just
Okay. All right. Well, hey, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I've been using Sharon Williams because I've been kind of catching it here and there. Which, I know everybody's probably not gonna do, but I've been kind of catching it. What I've been doing is catching mine on Facebook Marketplace.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I never thought of that.
Yep, I catch it on Facebook Marketplace, and so a lot of times it's already painted. I mean tinted, but so basically, this is what's happening. You'll have these guys that come in and the contractors, they'll purchase for a whole apartment complex, especially if it's like some new construction. You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And then so what they'll do, they'll buy so many 5 gallons. Well, somebody comes in, they don't like it, or if it's the mist, what they call it is mist tint, is what they call it. If somebody doesn't like it, they trash the whole batch. They'll start over, and Sherwin Williams will start it all over again. So what you can actually do is to walk into Sherwin Williams and say, "Hey, do you have any mist tints?" Or what did I just call that? Um, Mist tints. What do they call it? Mist
Yeah.
tints. So you can ask for that. A lot of times they'll have it in the back, and they'll sell it for a cheaper price. And a lot of times it's the famous colors that everybody's using.
Yeah. Huh.
hmm So that's definitely one thing that you can do. But I've been just buying it off of Facebook Marketplace. They'll have certain colors, uh, the gray, uh, repost gray, some of the other grays. Everybody's using it. You may get somebody that's got some left over the job. You just have to be careful, make sure they've been frozen and anything like that. But man, I'll go grab that stuff, throw it in the rental, and then you think about us. What I think last I was quoted a 5-gallon bucket of Sherwin Williams, the super, I think it's the super paint or the cashmere. I think that's cashmere. I think it's like one of the higher ends. That stuff's like $500 for a 5-gallon container of paint. And so I'm grabbing this stuff on Facebook Marketplace, $60, 5 gallons.
Wow.
$30. Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely something to look into, especially if you're just gonna do a rental. You know what I mean? And then what I
Yeah.
do after that, we'll paint it, and then what I'll do is go back to Sherwin Williams, have them match it up, and go get a whole another 5 gallon and run that play all over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but it's just some things like that to kind of save yourself some money. That's just like I said. That's just what I do.
Get the whatever confusing thing and all that. Start.
Yeah. Anyway, you can save yourself some money.
Good job. Just keep practicing.
Yeah.
And then say,
Mhm.
are you watching the video?
You can't hear my wife. My wife is talking. We're in the car headed down to Jacksonville to go see my daughter. So my wife is talking. You can't hear her, can you?
A little bit.
No, okay.
But
I'm
it's all
sorry.
right.
I apologize. So I can put myself on mute. Big bell. Oh, bullshit. There's Mark.
He's not talking much today. I think he's ignoring us.
Anthony. I'm trying to see what time is it over that way. Is he doing something? It is
It would be
10:30.
10:30.
10:30. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So it might be getting ready to put his jumpers on. What do you think? There you go.
I oh
So I need to ask
oh
you
come
about
on, Mark. I'm sure Frank didn't ban you.
Looks like it's $95.
I missed it last night. I was on third shift this week, so I couldn't join in last night. I always like to jump in on those Wednesday night calls. So
I joined in for a little bit. I had it's weird.
It's $80.
I stayed up most of the day yesterday, so I could
Okay.
because I had something that I had to get up super early for, like at
$95
5:30.
just for
So
the
by the time Frank's meeting got started, I jumped in, but I was just so tired. I ended up like bailing after like 45 minutes to an hour.
yeah, Flavio said it was good last night. What kind of topics did they talk about?
It must have been after I left. It got really good after the annoying one left.
Okay, for real. Okay.
I'm talking about myself.
Oh no, I doubt that. Doubt that's you, sir.
I see there's like
Flavio, did Frank ever make it back?
No, I think he's sick. I don't know what's going on,
Oh.
but yeah.
Whatever we do. I mean, you can't because Nana, I can't say Nana paid for rent.
Mm-hmm.
And how
Mikey, are you able to talk at all?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you been doing?
Yeah, I've been doing good.
What's going on with your stuff?
Oh, nothing much, just same old. And I was interested in how Simon, what was that? What were your thoughts on that interview? That was great.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it, I had all these questions, before that video started, and it was kind of funny because like I all the questions and I had the order listed so it flows a little bit better. But like most of the time, I kind of just improv a lot of my stuff. But that one, I actually sat down and actually took some serious time to actually make sure it was ready to go, or at least in like a bullet point idea. And it was funny because like I would ask a question or something, and Simon would actually usually answer about like two or three of the questions for the next in a row without me having to say anything. So it ended up being like a good conversation all around.
Yeah, I like when he was talking about the five economic principles because I never remember what those are, and it just reminds me I should listen to that first speech he gave at ORAT. He talked about that, right? On that one.
I'm not sure if he talked about I don't I can't recall what he talked about in the first Las Vegas event. Um the second one he hit on like two or three of them at least. He definitely did he talked about monetary policy and all that kind of stuff. Mark wants to know gorilla versus 100 men. I want to know 100 gorillas versus King Kong. Mark, I'm not sure what you're trying to ask there. Are you talking about me going back on Zuber, or are you in the process of buying anything else, Mikey?
I am I'm looking at a triplex in Ambridge.
Oh, what you said it's an Ambridge?
Yeah,
Did you put it in a
and it
bid?
was it's through Alex.
Oh,
We're just kind of going through that now and then see how it goes.
you have
Were you
Alex.
okay from the thunderstorms? That was some crazy news, like roofs flying off, and I don't know if you ever went to Fiore's Pizza, but I saw that.
I never been to Fury's Pizza. I know Cynthia was telling me about it, but my parents lost power for I don't know, like at least 5 days or so. Yeah, that they or I let them. I took my generator up to them and had them using that. Cynthia wasn't really affected, so that was a good thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. She was one of the few houses that on the street that wasn't affected. Everyone else lost power for like 3 or 4 days, I think.
Yeah, I was seeing pictures of like Oak Mount. I Do you know that area? There are like trees came down pretty hard over there on some houses.
Oakmont has a lot of trees over there in the sub or it's like a uppity it's like a Class A neighborhood that has a lot of trees, and they try to make it country-ish, but like a lot of
Oh,
trees are kind of old. They're big trees because they're pretty. They're pretty trees. So the pretty trees became not so pretty and became giant projectiles over there.
wow.
It kind of doesn't surprise me just because they have so many trees. And by big trees, I mean like a lot of these trees are, they're hardwood trees that are probably 75 plus years old.
Does September still work for you?
Yeah,
The first couple weeks?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Mark's coming too.
I think Mark's pretending to play dead,
He must be working or not working, but tied up.
hiding. He's pretending to be hiding. Well, does anyone else have any questions before we wrap things up?
Oh, were you looking for an electrician?
Yeah, yeah, I still am.
Well, sorry, I'm not sure if that's right, but I had Nicholas Electric. Oh, sorry, I'll double check that and I'll send it to you.
Okay. Well, you could just text it to me. Well, I'm going to have to head out, so I want to thank everyone for joining in on this episode or this meetup. Thank you, everyone. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have any more questions?
No, just wanted to say thank you.
Oh yeah, you're definitely welcome. Uh, Sarah, how you doing down there?
I'm here. I'm here. We had a big storm coming in here, so I'm like juggling driving in the car again and like trying to go get my kids off the other bus because they had to hold them because when it storms down here in the Savannah area, the lightning's really bad and people get zapped by lightning like bad all the time. It's pretty crazy. And
Oh,
so they won't let people outside. When I first moved here, I was like I grew up in the Midwest. I don't care. I'm going outside until I saw actually like people I knew got zapped, and I was like, oh yeah, let me just stay inside. Because they were always canceling stuff when there's lightning coming, or whatever. So it threw off my afternoon schedule just now. Like what the heck? So yeah, I'm driving.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, but all is
I
well.
didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things about being here down here in this area, like this coastal area. It's not just hurricanes, like lightning and wind is one of the other things that you have to look at when you're investing because there's like most insurance policies, they're really funny. The deductible is usually really, really large for wind or hail, like maybe like 15 grand large. And so they kind of expect you to have your own money for to repair any damages that are below 15 grand. So I've not seen a policy yet that's anything less than 15 grand for your deductible. so so everybody's leaving Florida because they came down here and didn't realize that wind and hail will do more damage than the hurricane. So yeah.
I'm trying to think before this last storm and the last time we really had a bad windstorm. I can't recall us having too many real bad windstorms, honestly.
My bad. You mean there in Pennsylvania? In
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Pittsburgh?
talking about up here.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, down here it's I mean that's what does most of the damage actually is it's not necessarily the hurricanes themselves, it's the winds that come from them or like you have a lot of tornadoes that will come along with the hurricane. So the hurricane itself isn't what does most of the impact to begin with. It's like all of the second and third order effects of the hurricane. So yeah, so like I said, anytime it's lightning out here, at least in the Savannah area, they're like, oh, we can't let anyone out of the building. It's like even at the grocery store early, like the workers are like, get inside. They were taking carts. But I mean, the lightning here is pretty intense. Matter of fact, I had my primary house got zapped. I forgot it was like maybe the second summer I was here because hurricane season runs from 1 June, I think, through November. And like just the lightning, it sounds like really weird actually. It's like lashes, like a lashing of like a whip. And then
Huh.
it actually zapped like 4 things in my house. So one thing I didn't know to put on the property, it was like a it's almost like it's a whole home surge protector that costs like I don't know, I think it paid like $500 or something for it to put it on your electric panel. So that
Mhm.
way when they have the lightning storms or whatever, it doesn't zap in your house. So like it took out my brand new appliances too. I was so mad. Took out my washing machine, took out like my refrigerator. And matter of fact, I have 2 ovens in my primary that I live in. So I've got one gas stove and I've got a wall oven as well. So my wall oven's electric, but then obviously my stove is gas. But the electric oven that's the wall oven, it freaking it still like will like just shut off randomly in the middle of cooking sometimes
Huh.
because of the storms here. So yeah. Hold on, my kids are getting ready to get in the car. The 2 older kids. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
See ya.
okay. Oh no, I'm telling the bus driver. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Oh. Hey, I'm on a podcast now. Say hello. Oh, you're freezing.
so I believe that's gonna be it for this week. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in and joining us, and we will see you next time.
Is it next week, Thursday, same time, Jack?
Uh, right now they're bi-weekly. I want to talk to Harrison, and hopefully we can get him up to weekly. It's always the same link though that I use. So until next time, see you guys.
No.